If it loads.
Ah, there you go. Foiled by technology. No.
Here we go.
Oh,
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
that's a ruse.
Give it on the water.
Couple of seals, maybe.
Ooh. So there you go, definitive proof of the Ogopogo. What do you guys think about that one?
I mean, that's
Yeah,
cool
it's
little
good
legend.
stuff.
Of course, I'll believe it when I'm eating it.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's a good one though, because it's like, it has a long history and.
Yeah.
It's got
And a
bit
whole
of- bit of a
community
nice little
backing.
folklore
Yeah.
of the area.
So Jordan,
Yeah.
why don't you hit us with one of yours?
Well, I was doing a bit of research, and
That's
I
interesting.
came across a fair few things, but one that stuck out to me was something about The Simpsons.
Ah, yeah, that is a good urban legend.
And,
The Simpsons.
Apparently, there's a missing episode from season 1,
All
and
right.
they refused to count a couple of these missing episodes, making the amount of episodes inconsistent. But it apparently has the same number as Moaning Lisa, 7G06, and it's titled Dead Bart. And
Is that where
apparently
he's
it's
dead serious about going to...
apparently like Bart actually dies in it,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
like it's a really fucked up episode.
Describe the episode, please.
Well, no. First,
Did you
explain
stop the
backstory.
boats, Mr. Abbott?
God damn you! So pretty much, like, people have been asking about this, but like no writer on The Simpsons wants to talk about it, and they just ask, like, can you not ask Matt Groening about it? Like, just please don't reference anything. And is it Silverman? David Silverman.
It's David Spade.
Yeah, David Silverman was speaking at a show one time, and someone asked him a question about Dead Bart, and he just like stopped and left the stage like 2 hours early.
What?
And so,
Wow.
yeah, I know. And someone found Matt Groening and actually asked him about it.
Matt Groening.
Yeah, and he was fine with like
We're not going to correct him on that one?
Matt Groening.
Yeah, there you go.
Fuck you guys. And someone found Matt Groening, and he was like, "Oh yeah, fan, that's standard." Then they're like, "Can you tell me about Dead Bart?" And he just went like fucking cold, and like
he actually went cold, his body temperature.
yeah, like it kind of looked like it.
Shit.
How he just went like, I don't want to talk about this, and he wrote something down on a napkin, a website, and it was just this black website with just a link for a download, and the download apparently was a virus,
Oh,
and
snap.
it took down.
Fuck you, fan.
Yeah, it like wiped this guy's whole computer, except it did put on the Dead Bart episode. Like all he had on his computer was this Dead Bart episode, and so it goes in like just standard, has the normal theme and whatnot. And it comes on, I think they're doing something normal, but like everyone's just kind of like acting odd. I'll find it. So the episode was about the Simpsons going on a plane trip, and the episode started off like any other episode, but it had very poor quality animation. But so it was normal. The characters... so Homer seemed angrier, Marge seemed depressed, Lisa seemed anxious, Bart seemed to have genuine anger and hatred for his parents. And the episode was about this... the episode was about them going on a plane. And the plane was taking off, and Bart was fooling around, as you'd expect. However, as the plane was about 50 feet off the ground, Bart broke a window on the plane, which I don't know how that happened, but he was sucked out. And at the beginning of the series, Matt had an idea that the animated style of The Simpsons Simpsons world represented life, and that death turned things more realistic. This was used in this episode. So the picture of Bart's corpse was barely recognizable, but they took full advantage of it not having to move and made an almost photorealistic drawing of his dead body. So that ended, and a shot of Bart's corpse, and after that, Homer, Marge, and Lisa were sitting at their table crying. The crying went on, and it got more pained and sounded more realistic. Better acting than you would think possible. And the animation started to decay even more as they cried, and you could hear murmuring in the background. The characters could barely be made out. They were stretching and blurring. They looked like deformed shadows with random bright colors thrown on them. There were faces looking in the window, flashing in and out, so you were never sure what they looked like. The crying went on for all of Act 2 after it. And Act 3 opened with a title card saying 1 year had passed. Homer, Marge, and Lisa were skeletally thin and still sitting at the table. There was no sign of Maggie or the pets. They decided to visit Bart's grave. Springfield was completely deserted, and as they walked to the cemetery house, the houses became more and more decrepit. They all looked abandoned when they got to the grave. Bart's body was just lying in front of his tombstone, just looking like it did at the end of Act 1. The family started crying again. Eventually, they stopped and just stared at Bart's body. The camera zoomed in on Homer's face, according to the summaries. Homer tells a joke at this part. What the fuck? But it isn't audible in the version the guy saw, so you can't tell what Homer is saying. But then the view zoomed out as the episode came to a close. The tombstones in the background had the names of every Simpsons guest star on them. Some that no one had heard of in 1989. Some that haven't been on the show yet. All of them had death dates on them. For guests who died since, like Michael Jackson and George Harrison, the dates when they would die. The credits were completely silent and seemed handwritten. The final image was the Simpson family on their couch, like in the intros, but all drawn in the hyper-realistic, lifeless style of Bart's corpse. So that's that.
That's interesting as fuck.
Yeah. Then, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a pretty
That's-
nifty number.
That seems like...
Wow. I don't know how to think about that one.
That seems weird, though. Like, why would they even make that episode to
Yeah.
start with? Like, it's just so not in tone with, like...
Anything to do with The Simpsons.
Well, that's
just
why they don't
with
want
the
to
show
talk
at
about
all.
it. That's why they don't want to talk about it. But, I did a bit of extra research, and it's all fucking fake.
Yeah, it sounds like it's all fucking fake.
Yeah. And so I didn't actually read. I, got half down, and I was like, oh, if I can find this episode, I don't want it to be ruined. And then so I started researching, and I was like, is the dead Bart? And it's another thing, and it's like, oh, it's fake. It's not real. Someone just made it up on Creepypasta.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, damn, I wanted it to be real.
It's just cut together a bunch of different things from other Simpsons
Yeah, pretty
episodes.
much. But, it's pretty fucked up.
What a weird thing to make up.
And, I could imagine that they might have secret episodes.
Yeah, like something that never aired, or
Yeah.
to me, if that was real, it seems more like a test for the animators or something. Like they were just sort of experimenting with different styles and
Yeah,
stuff like that,
exactly.
and someone just wrote a really fucked up script because it was never going to be aired anyways, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. There's no way that they I know that it is fake, but there's no way that they would have made that, been like, oh, this would be an episode of The Simpsons.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for depressing everyone, Jordan.
Yay.
Yeah, thanks for ruining The Simpsons, you bastard.
Hello.
Please don't do that, Jordan. This
That was
seed
me
is
trying to shift around.
this seed is not stable.
That was on me.
I didn't do it.
All right, Tyler, why don't you hit us up with another one?
Can you get a nice happy urban legend?
Not really, no.
Like the meme man, how
Alright,
he gives you a little extra?
Oh. My urban legend is of
Zelda?
yeah, The Legend of Zelda. I got Skinned Tom.
Nice.
Yeah, we're sort of...
Tom.
It's an urban legend. They're not going to be happy stories.
Well, the Ogo Pogo's nice.
What about
True.
He's a nice boy.
Is he?
What about the
He eats
legend?
animals in the middle of the lakes.
Well, I mean, what else is he going to eat?
Kelp
And where else is he going to eat it?
in the lake.
What about the legend of the bag of CDs and perfume?
Oh, Jesus.
So when we got home today, one of the guys there's a couple of builders who are working on the units next door, and one of them comes up to us and asks us if
we lost a bag of
CDs and perfume
when we
and
moved in.
Jordan thought he
asked us if we'd seen his bag of CDs and perfume.
So he thought it was really funny for a long time. We were like, it's not that funny.
He's just, but he thought it was his.
Also had
that's
beautiful Italian accent.
Oh my God, you need to just calm down, mate.
That's great. Hey boys, have you seen
He didn't sound like that.
bag of
I hope he can hear you. I
CDs
hope he's going to come up here and
perfume?
tell you off. You deserve it.
I hope
You
so.
need a bit of a bringing down,
I
mate.
do.
So in life, Tom was a good guy who liked the ladies, and once he dated all the girls in the area, he wanted to see girls from the next town. And so there was this one girl, and he didn't know she was married, but he started courting her and taking her on dates. But her husband found out, and he was like, "No, I'm going to get revenge on these kids.
Mhm.
This is not okay."
Did he skin Tom?
Yeah, that's it. He skinned Tom. Story ruined, guys.
Yay.
He told his wife he was going out for the weekend and then hid in the woods behind the house and waited. And then old Tom showed up to take her.
Old Tom.
Old Tom, the animated cat, showed up to take his wife out to the town. And then he followed them to the nearby Lover's Lane, which, is the standard setting for a lot of urban legends.
Yep.
Lover's Lane. Couple of people making out on, make-out point and shit. Things were getting pretty hot and heavy. When all of a sudden the car door was jerked open and Tom came face to face with one very huge, very angry-looking dude with a hunting knife. And then, it's the husband is like, yeah, I'm going to fucking... I think he stabbed her. Yeah, he stabbed his wife once in the stomach and then left her there, and he took Tom out into the forest.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's like, oh, so I didn't know she was married and stuff, but the husband didn't listen, and he took him out of the car and skinned him alive with the hunting knife.
Cool.
And then he went into the town and turned himself into the police. And so when they came to the crime scene, they found the wife, who was still alive, but Tom they couldn't find. And they say he's still hanging around in Lover's Lane, waiting to catch a couple and teach them the same lesson his girlfriend's husband taught him. And the description of what Tom looks like now is a bloody
Skinned.
skeleton in 20s clothes carrying the knife he was skinned with. And yeah, so, tell kids not to go make out at Lover's Lane because
Especially if you're married.
especially if you're married. There's a lesson to be learned for all of us here, guys.
Yeah, otherwise you might get skinned.
So don't cheat on your spouse, or else you'll get skinned by old Tom,
The cat.
the cat. Yes, there you go. That's my other one, little skin Tom.
That's a great one.
All right.
Is
You're
that
gonna give us?
is that a true one or a fake one?
It's a legend, but I think it's all fake.
Yeah.
well, I've
Well,
got
some can be true.
a true
Well, then
one.
it's not a.
Yeah.
All right.
I've got a few true ones.
Mine is known as the Greenock Catman.
Okay.
Ooh.
There you go. That's it.
Thank you. All right, Jordan.
So the Greenock Catman is a everything I'm about to tell you is 100% true.
Okay. Does it say it's true on the article?
No,
Well, that's
but it is nonetheless.
all right.
Don't mess with us, Porch.
Okay. So the town of Greenock in Scotland,
True.
just 25 miles west of Glasgow, prides itself on its rich maritime history.
Oh, good.
It's spot amongst Scotland's
Hotspurs.
top 50 walking trails and its beautifully restored Victorian buildings. In fact, it's long been considered one of the most lovely towns in the country. But when the sun sets and
It becomes night time.
when the sun sets and night has descended upon its shores, the residents of Greenock know that something is creeping in the darkness, watching them silently as they hurry back to their homes.
Oh.
Everyone puts on Thriller cosplay and starts showing the music.
It's the Catman. For many years, the only evidence of the Catman were second-hand tales of glowing eyes in the darkness, or a friend who swears that he had seen the black
Pretty sure
figure.
a lot of people in Scotland swear.
Swear that they had seen the figure crawl out of a drainage pipe, a dying rat. So the thing is that this is a man who eats rats. It's a cat man who eats rats.
Is he a cat man, or is he just a man who eats rats?
Well, he's a
And
man
that's
that
why
eats rats, and that makes him like a cat.
Or is he a scat
turns
man? He's just going around